ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Anime Watch Club, a bi-weekly group discussion and review where the host of the Voice Anime podcast nominate and vote on shows either we haven't seen or shows that hopefully lead to a great conversation. On today's episode, the nasty freaks of the What Do You Say Anime podcast will be reviewing the 2001 anime Hellsing. Let's meet today's ghouls. First up, he really loves sinking his teeth in these type of properties. We got Jay. Jay, how's it going?
I didn't need to have a freak chip implanted.
Ooh! Audio listeners have no idea what happened. Jay dropped it down low for everybody else. Yeah, how's it going, Jay?
Pretty good. This was a show.
It was. It really was. Next up, he's the one who nominated the show, and he's just dying to talk about it. We got Kat. Kat, how's it going?
Yeah, great fun, man. I am certainly excited to talk about this show.
Thanks. I'm glad you like my puns because I'm all out of them. So, Miles, I couldn't think of one. So, your favorite fruit is a blood orange. How's it going, Miles?
It isn't. Whose is? Whose is a blood orange?
Yeah,
genuinely, what kind? Your favorite? Yeah,
yes.
I love blood oranges.
Okay, I would have guessed strawberries for you, Kat.
I'm a lemon kind of guy.
I like kiwis.
Ooh, I like eating
say
kiwis with the
watermelon.
skin on.
Yeah, me too. And off. Honestly, any kind of way. I'm doing good. I'm excited to talk about this show. A little preview of how this is going to go. I did it in our little group chat, and I was like, "Hey guys, having a hard time thinking about what to talk about for this show. So if you guys have any ideas, let me know." And no one said anything.
Whoa,
So-
I kind of said something.
You did. Several hours later, though.
I said the
I was
OST
busy.
is a bob or something like that.
You did. Yeah, that's true. We'll talk about that for 30 minutes.
I was
It'll
at
be great.
work.
I was also at work.
And Pat.
Hello. My favorite fruit is a mango for anyone who was wondering and dying
Good choice.
for an answer. It's
That is a
fantastic
good choice. They fuck
Thank
up your
you.
teeth, though.
I just eat mango flavored things. So I don't
Yeah, so
worry
yeah,
about it.
it was going to be a hot take that I like mango flavoring more than I like mangoes themselves.
Then you don't like mangoes. Like
That's-
that's
That's sort of what I
you like
just said.
citric acid. You like citric acid. That's what you like.
And
I'm not-
corn syrup.
Miles says that? Oh my god.
The
Kat,
Like I said, I don't like mangoes that much, but I like mango flavored
well,
things.
guess what,
That
Mom?
means
Sounds
you-
like you don't like
That
mangoes,
means you
bro.
don't like mangoes.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's how I am with banana stuff, like banana Laffy Taffy, best flavor, banana
Well,
bread.
that's
love it,
awful.
as long as it's like-
Wow.
Oh, you guys don't like banana
I-
Laffy Taffy?
That's the
It's-
worst flavor.
What? All right, send them all to
No,
me,
number
please.
one. It's the best one.
It's the
Cherry
best
is
one.
the
Send
know
them to
your
me.
Cherry is
any worse,
obviously the best one.
honestly.
They're all good. They're all don't taste like
Banana
what they're
runts?
supposed to.
I like
Banana
bananas.
runs are
Banana
That's
rum.
fair.
I just
like
don't like
normal
bananas. The
Banana
texture-
rum?
I had one this morning.
Banana rum is really
You
good.
had banana rum
Nice.
this morning?
99
Oh.
bananas. Anyone back in school?
Miles, you have a problem if you have banana rum this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. It's
Good
It's
thing
just
no
a
one
dragon.
from work listens, right?
yeah.
I just got to stop these hands from shaking.
Yeah, just-
This is an intervention, Miles. I just wanted you to know.
I need a shot of 99 bananas every morning. I can't make it through. No other alcohol will suffice either. It has to be 99 bananas.
Alrighty.
You have a problem.
You have a problem. We're going to branch you off into other alcohols.
Okay, cool. 99
All right.
strawberry. 99. Sorry. Let's
No,
talk
I was
about
like,
this show.
all right, surely we can move on eventually, right, guys? We're professionals at this, yeah. Let's talk about Hellsing. Most notably, Hellsing 2001, done by Studio Gonzo, based off the manga. Action, horror, supernatural, adult theme, gore, vampire, and seinen themes and genres and blah blah blah. Yeah, I guess let's just start talking about the only anime to come out in fall of 2001 other than Prince of Tennis. Miles, why don't you go first? What's your first impressions, and would you recommend this?
Yeah, so we've watched other vampire themed Studio Gonzo shows before, specifically Rosario Vampire 1 and 2, and this show was a little less serious than those. It was a little more of a fun time. No, I had a good time with the show. It's pretty, I don't know how to describe it. It's like not a good show. I don't think it's good, but I do like it. I had a fun time watching it. I thought it was neat. I do like the whole general aesthetic. I think it does some horror stuff pretty well, especially for like anime standards. There's some moments where Alucard is like pretty scary. There's a lot of things in the show that confused me. Maybe we can work them out in this episode. Maybe we can't. Maybe someone can explain them in the comments or something. I didn't get a lot of the dynamics between the different organizations and stuff. So I sort of just treated this as Alucard and Police Lady versus whoever they were fighting at the time. And I just sort of assumed they were antagonistic and worked for someone else or whatever. And I don't think they really explained that. Would I recommend this show? I don't know. Sure. I don't think it's like, I don't know. Watch it like Halloween or something. It's a pretty easy, quick watch in my opinion. It's not good. Don't expect it to be good. Just do it if you were in the mood of watching some sort of like that like romp that's very tropey and has vampires in it. I don't know. It's a weird show for me to describe my relationship with, but I would say that give it a watch. It's like old too. It's kind of fun. It's pretty nostalgic, just like the character designs and everything.
Yeah, it's anime number 270 on the MAL database. That's really low. I can't think of. I mean, the only other one that would really fit from shows we've watched would be like Elfen Lied. Maybe is one of the older anime technically that we've watched. Other than that, I can't imagine much more is like lower in the numbers. Yeah, I said that. I totally killed that bit. There we go. Kat, why don't you give your opening thoughts to cover up for my failures?
Yeah. So Hellsing is definitely a show. I nominated it because I haven't seen Hellsing, and I don't think any of us had seen Hellsing. So the thing about it is that it definitely does have that old anime aesthetic, and it reminds me a bit of Trigun, but it's not reminding me of the like good bits of Trigun where it's like, where it's, character development and there's really good aspects. It reminds me of the parts of Trigun that are just all action, and it makes my shonen head go burr. So that's kind of what I enjoyed about the show. I won't go as far as to say that it's bad. I think it's average, but I do really like the like dark aesthetic, and I think that adds to it. So I would say that I would recommend it to somebody that wants to understand what like old anime, what the stereotype for old anime is, because this is it.
I just want a quick clarification. Did I say it was bad or did I say it was not good? Because those are different in my brain. And I don't think this is bad. I think it's not good. So I just want to clarify that.
I thought you said it was bad.
I think
Maybe
maybe
I did.
bad too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not good.
Yeah. Okay. So
Okay,
I
fair
agree with
enough.
Miles. Then it is not good, but it's not bad. It's average.
It's
Alrighty.
the secret third option.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
All right, you have a cute cat, so you're getting away with this. Jay, what have you got to say?
All right. So we have it's too cold. It's just right. So now I have to be it's too hot. Correct? We're three bears
Yes.
in this.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, this show fucking rocks, man. It's probably the best thing we've ever. Nah, I'm fucking with you. This show, honestly, I'll cut to the chase. I don't recommend this show. Go watch Hellsing Ultimate instead. That's all. Like, pretty much all I have to say about it. Honestly, like even from the first 3 episodes, like which are surprisingly enough manga canon. Like, I've already seen a lot of Hellsing Ultimate, so maybe like I don't have an uninformed take on it, but like Hellsing Ultimate just does it better. Like, I don't know. It's fine, I guess. Like, if you really just don't, if you like Hellsing Ultimate, I guess, and you want to watch more Hellsing, go watch it, I suppose. Or like if you just don't want to watch Hellsing Ultimate for some reason, watch it. But otherwise, nah, I don't really recommend this in my opinion. It's got some interesting stuff going on. Like, I think aesthetically, there's a lot of really cool stuff going on in terms of like coloration, specifically with the color red used in the color palette, and the OST is really solid. But other than that, I just think that it's like a lot of eye candy and a little bit not even really hardcore eye candy either. Like it's pretty solid eye candy and pretty solid ear candy, but like there's just better ways to experience it. So if there's a better way to experience something, why would I recommend this?
I agree a lot with you.
Sorry if that was rambly.
No, just like, yeah, why would you recommend this if Ultimate is better in every facet? That's kind of where I'm gonna probably end up from my limited understanding of Ultimate. But yeah, go ahead, Pete. What about you? Before
Yeah, first impressions on this show, I was trying to determine whether this was just the age that these anime was made in, or if it actually like really had a bad production budget. And I kind of came to the conclusion that it's both. It has elements where I did really enjoy sort of the aesthetic, but like it was missing some things for me that I think that we can get into in the actual episode. But for this being a little bit more gritty and like vampire dark, where it's like horror vampire and gore, I thought that it really wasn't as like gory and as like horror-y as I expected it to be. It felt a little bit more PG-13 than rated R. And I think I was expecting a little bit more along the lines of like vampires like blowing people up, maybe something like an Elfen Lied. Like you remember that first scene in Elfen Lied where like they all die and stuff like that. Like that's like this style of horror that I was kind of expecting. And while people do die in this, it's like it's not the same. It felt a little anticlimactic with like them turning into like dust and floating away. I'm like, all right, like I guess that was fine. I guess that's what happens to these people. But like it didn't feel like, I don't know. I feel like you could have added a little bit more Shazam to these scenes to really like make it pop. And I think that's what it was missing. In terms of like would I recommend it, it's just like I don't think I would. Like I think if you wanted like gory vampire stuff in this day and age, like watch Hellsing Ultimate, watch Castlevania. Like there are other like shows like this where I just think would probably do it better. And even if you want to do like the compare and contrast with like, you know, like OG Hunter x Hunter versus Hunter x Hunter 2011 or Full Metal Alchemist versus Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, like this is kind of like that with like the Hellsing Ultimate. I just feel like I don't know what part of like this first part of Hellsing was like better that a remake couldn't do better, because there was nothing that like stood out outside of maybe the voice acting, but a lot of the voice acting in this is in Ultimate. So just like I would just say move on to the next product, and I would not personally recommend this.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat as Pete and Jay in particular. I would not recommend this either. Uh, I mean, it was bloody, but not gory. To go along with what Pete was saying, I think, where I think the blood would have made it a rated R rating, like in theory, but like it wouldn't be the fun rated R; it would be the boring kind. So, um,
You wanted some shivets.
yeah, yeah, I want some. I don't know. I don't even know what I want. I don't even like horror that much. I really don't. Like, I guess I don't. I don't like vampires, especially. I'm much more like a zombie guy or aliens or something, something less traditional than like the vampires and stuff, if that makes sense. Oh yeah, my analogy that I had for this. I thought like when I first started watching this, I was like, "Oh, this is like so heavily stylized almost to the point where it felt like it was trying to be Cowboy Bebop, but it was not." Like in the sense that it's just like it's a vibe and like just the art and the way it like shot certain scenes, especially early on, it felt very similar to that show to me. But then it was just not very fun, and I didn't really like Alucard either. The one of the main leads, and the other lead's voice was so annoying. Could not get past that, and I mean, Jay made a great point in our pre-show discussion that the author for this was a porn writer or a hentai artist before this. Like you can just tell looking at the characters, their dimensions don't make sense in certain angles, and just in general, I was not really liking it, so I would not recommend it at all. I did enjoy watching it more than my score will probably reflect, though. Like it never really bored me. It only confused me at the end, if anything. And made me go like, all right, well, now I really don't care what happens, I guess. Yeah, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's what was that? 3 not recommends and 2 sorta kindas, basically, from my
It was
recollection.
situational.
Yeah, I
It's
didn't even think about the existence of Ultimate just because I haven't seen it. So like, I don't know, maybe that would change it, but I don't know. I didn't have a bad time with it. It's like, again, it's not good, but like I think at least for me it was like a pretty easy watch. So if you're just sort of like, I want to knock out a classic piece of anime today and I'm in the mood for something kind of mindless and dumb, I think it's a good choice for that. That's a lot of qualifiers, so take that as you will. But I don't know. We'll talk
yeah,
about it here.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I guess the 2 conditional recommends and 3 not recommends. So take that for what you will, but yeah, let's talk about spoilers going forward. I guess it's spoiler heavy for both this, and then I would imagine at least some of it is spoiler heavy for Hellsing Ultimate, or at least early on in the show, in the same way that Full Metal Alchemist and Brotherhood are connected. So take that spoiler warning as you will. And Miles, why don't you do a quick little synopsis and get our discussion started?
Yeah, for sure. So I guess if I had to pick a main character for this show, I would pick Seras, Victoria, who is a policewoman who is, sent to a scene of a crime, and there are vampires there, shockingly enough. And ultimately, she is turned into a vampire by our other protagonist, Alucard, who works for the Hellsing organization, who is led by our third protagonist, whose name is Integra Hellsing, with some middle names and stuff. She's a pretty cool character. So we follow these 3 characters through them, so Seras is like learning how to be a vampire and what it means to be a vampire, and about this underground world, of different monsters and stuff. Alucard is sort of this mysterious figure who is nigh unkillable, extremely strong, and Seras's master, vampire master person, and then Integra running this organization for some sort of reason. I don't think it's super clear um, why any of this exists, but it does. And so we follow their adventures across 13 episodes or so. So I think the first several episodes focus on introducing us to this world and on Seras sort of coming to grips with becoming a vampire. Any thoughts on that particular thing? I thought that personally they like kind of underdeveloped that. I thought that she sort of just was like, I guess I'm a vampire now, and like once or twice she'd be like, it's a bummer, but like mostly she didn't care at all and was just like, this is what it is. And I just sort of expected a little more, I guess. What are our thoughts there on this like initial character arc Seras has?
Yeah, like it was it. She had a couple of moments where she like looked at the blood that was being mysteriously put into, or quote unquote mysteriously put into her casket room that she was supposed to drink, and then she didn't drink, and then she was like, I don't want to drink this, and then she went over to it, got hungry, started to tear it up and poured it down, and then flushed it down the toilet, and just didn't do anything with it. Like that was the only real conflict that we had with it, except for that one time where she went berserk, which kind of coincided with the first time that we saw Alucard go into that dog beast mode. But that was about it. And then she started drinking blood. But that was like she just kind of existed like she probably would have, but she was just a little bit more powerful. Except for that one time where she'd been an MP5 Sparrow. That's about it. I agree with you. It's not. It is nowhere near developed at all to be, of worth.
So
Yeah, Pete, you have some thoughts here?
yeah, I actually hated her character, but I don't think it's her fault. I think it's the writer's fault. Like I think that maybe it's better because like maybe it's better in Ultimate because like on Mal she has like 3,000 fans. I'm like, why? Like I legit felt like she was here to be like the pretty eye for the dudes, Like they called her like kitten cat or kitty cat.
I've got 2 reasons for you.
Yeah, 2 reasons exactly. I was
No, 100%.
There may be a reason she has 3,000 favorites on map.
No, for sure that too. But like, like the instances of like when she's like not in combat and she's like interacting with any dude in the show, it's like I better fucking sexually harass her. Like, hey, so you know what else you'd like inside of you, girl? It's like, it's just like, and he does like the TV guy, like episode like 4. He like does like the head tilter up, like I'm gonna kiss you type of thing. It's like, dude, you're such a fucking creep. Like that's, all the dudes are just creeps.
If only I was 20 years younger.
That was he immediately got some karma there. He died immediately after saying that.
They all died.
So
maybe that's her power.
I guess like a little insider thing to our Discord. We have a member named Veronica who will post these Tumblr polls about various pieces of media, and the poll is just it's one question. It just says, does blank like women? Yes or no? I think Hellsing is like it's a no.
It's a hard no.
At least it doesn't like one particular woman, and that woman is Seras Victoria.
Let me say that, because I think Integra is so fucking cool. Like her drip and her aura is insane. I think she is such a well-designed character. I don't know if it's fleshed out in this, but like I think like everything on paper with her character is like god tier. And then you have Victoria, who I think is like bottom of the barrel. It's like night and day. It's this whole story is just filled with inconsistencies, and this is one of them.
Yeah, on paper, I like Seras Victoria's character. I like the idea of someone who is a bit younger becoming a vampire, someone who was maybe a bit idealistic and isn't used to this whole thing and having to adapt to this darker world, right? I just don't think that they really play with that enough. And it's because she's a fucking cop, right? So she knew she would have to do some fucking bullshit. So once she becomes a vampire, she's like, I'm still gonna just be a fucking cop. And, that's I feel like not even in like a derogatory way, I think. And just like also in a derogatory way, but like not only in one. Where I think having her have like that job as opposed to being like a nurse or something is like less interesting, I guess, in my opinion.
It just justified why she was like knew how to take orders, knew how to stuff like that. Like it makes
and I just think that makes it kind of boring though, right? Because it's just more in line with who she is. And like Kat was mentioning this, right? Like her character didn't change a ton from this.
I think her character. Okay, look.
Yeah, go ahead.
She's a character of duality, right? On the one side, we have the fact that she is like this super predator that only exists to kill innocent people, a parasite in a mythical sense that has haunted generations of people. And on the other hand, she's a vampire.
What up? The setup was there.
I was so ready to rebut. Now I'm not. I agree with you.
I already made that joke, but worse before, and so I was not expecting it. I was like very interested in what Jay had to say. But I got
well, okay. On a more serious note, though, I think that these first few episodes do like a really poor job of making you actually care about Seras as a character. I agree with Pete on Integra though. Like Integra, like she's one of those characters that deserves better than the stories she 100%. Is in. Like I can think of a few characters like that, but I think she might be at the top of my list, honestly. Like Aki from Chainsaw Man is also that for me, where I think he deserves better than the story he was in, low-key. But like Integra is just so good the entire time. Her voice acting is top tier in my opinion, even in the English dub, which says a lot because the English dub for this is like fucked up a lot of the time. And again, I'm just gonna rant about Crunchyroll subtitles, the generated ones again, because they do not know how to understand British accents, is what I learned. You just get so much random shit in the subtitles when people are like, "Oi, mister, you me dad." Like they just genuinely do not understand. But
I switched to the subtitles, and instead of saying Alucard, they were saying Alucard.
Well,
That
that's
would-
what it is in
yeah.
Romaji.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's actually
no.
correct. Yeah,
Uh.
who was I just talking to this about? Someone, but so in Japanese, R's and L's are like represented by the same symbol, and they're I was talking to my friend who has a PhD in like linguistic learning something. So the reason that there's like that mix up is because in Japanese, like when you recognize the symbol, there's like one database in your head, and like the reason I would struggle with blending them and like that lu like noises like Alucard is because they're separate in my brain, right? And so I don't. It's just a whole linguistics thing that my doctorate friend would be able to explain that I'm doing a terrible job of butchering. But Alucard is like literally linguistically correct.
Yeah,
That
like
makes sense.
Krillin in Dragon
Yeah.
Ball Z or Dragon Ball is actually Kurin, not Krillin.
But
Yeah.
see, that makes sense, except for the fact that Alucard is literally supposed to be Dracula back.
Yeah, but
You'll
okay, how
never
would you
guess what
say
Dracula is in
Guess what Dracula is in
Japanese.
Japanese?
Yeah, sure. But
Dracula.
I guess it's-
That's almost
guess that's
100% what it would be.
That's so dumb. I hate that.
okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
I don't think it's.
Well, like dumb in the sense that it's like I don't know, like why if it's something translated from something else, why is it not phonetically added in the same way that like in English to Spanish, obviously a closer etymology language, but not the same Germanic versus Roman. Like why? Like in Spanish, there's the double L, and it makes the y sound. Like calle is street. Like what? Or is it room? One or the other. Either way, I'm failing. But
get
you
what
know,
you're
like they
saying.
make it work. They make it work. The H is a J and the J is an H now. Like why isn't
Because
English?
those sounds exist in the lexicon.
But why doesn't?
Because
How
it does
does
not.
the
It's not a. That's like not a sound that Japanese is traditionally. It's sort of like rolling your N's or whatever they are in Spanish. How like we have a hard time rolling your R's. How like people who speak English have a hard time doing that. Me too.
It's
and
a
so like
biological deposition that we can't because our tongues aren't snipped. Like
it's a coding.
It's
It's a
actually true. That's
brain coding thing.
It's both, but it like the
I mean, I didn't know about the biological thing, but there's like a sensor, like a way that you like when you are learning a language, when you are like growing up, you learn to like associate things with. I don't know exactly the science behind it, but like it's just because it's not a thing you ever have to say or do, you're not able to like do it, and so you just put in the best like facsimile that you can given your what the tools you're working with are. And so, there is no dedicated like R or L sound in Japanese. There's like this blended version of it. And so it just sort of fits into both of those if they are just importing a word.
They also just didn't care. They're like, oh, what America will get when we say Alucard. Like Japanese people know what they're saying, and that's what they care about.
Yeah, and they change it for the dub, so that's what would really matter.
Yeah.
I do get it being annoying because it's hard to like say the word correctly in Japanese when it's so similar to an English word, but it's like slightly different. It is frustrating for me, but it is. I mean, it's just how the language is, right? So I don't know what you would do. Anyways, after that tangent, where were we?
I would love to chime in too about Seras Victoria. Like
police
like,
girl.
Yeah,
yeah.
She's so not like nothing. Would the show have resulted in anything different by the end if she did not exist? I'm trying to think like
No.
Nope.
No, because Alucard just always comes in and saves the day or does whatever he's doing, or would have done it instead of Seras, or would have been assigned to do it.
I mean,
and would have done it better.
She takes care of some B plots, like at the end, right? There's like she deals with like the second in command bad guy, while Alucard deals with the main bad guy.
Yeah, the second in command bad guy that did nothing but like haunt her for the first like 20 minutes of the episode, right? And then
Yeah.
or well, maybe he did something relevant earlier in the show, but I couldn't be asked to
He
remember.
was looming over her.
Yeah, exactly.
I
I just to finish my broader point though, I think that Alucard as well, his power scaling, his like what he did in the show was very frustrating to me, where it just felt like, and the action scenes, maybe they were animated cool, but they weren't. There was like no oomph behind him, I guess, for me, because it was just like he'd say, "Ooh, power level A, exhibit B unlocked" or something, and then would just shoot another gun or shoot a gun, and then turn into a wolf, like some random
Dog.
eye thing, dog thing. Oh, power level 1 unlocked. Power level C, and then shoot the gun again. Like the final kill, I'll give him. That was cool. That was pretty like a clever. I don't know how it worked, but it was cool in theory. Like melting the silver and then making it a like a spear rod that he shoots or goes from his gun to him. Like that's cool and all, but like the rest of the fights, it was kind of just like, oh, Alucard shows up, saves the day, and then yay, Team
I
Rocket's
guess
been defeated. You know,
I have,
Like,
I
Cat,
have some.
had something though.
Oh,
First.
Kat, you have some stuff on that?
Yeah, so the power scaling to me also annoyed me because it was so because there was like you said, there was no real structure. It's one thing to deal like I guess it was that like we knew that Alucard was like a Nosferatu, which they mentioned, and a and like an actual true vampire. And then we got the Incognito who was can apparently like absorb uh other vampires and stuff like that, but like it doesn't really make sense because like either because like in the first episode when we see Alucard, he gets shot in the head and he sits down there and like the bad guy's just like laughing there going like, oh, you're a joke, and then he gets back up after like what is it like probably about a minute 2 minutes, and it's like later in the show he gets shot several times and he just keeps on trucking. Like it's a that's the thing I don't like about sometimes of about shonen because it's not consistent, and this is just inconsistency throughout for power scaling wise, and uh like also the Deus Ex Machina of him getting killed and then all the blood in the all the blood outside of the Tower of London just coming back up and reviving him, and then him getting this like power level A or whatever. Like it's just it takes the wind out of the final fight for me, and it's just like, yeah.
How about the end card too? Like, oh, you get red scrolling text to tell you that, oh yeah, that Knights of the Round Table basically bullshit ripoff that they did, and then they were like, oh, there's a Judas among us, you know, like that's a
And
cool idea.
and they
And
were
then they're
dealt
like,
with.
yeah, it's just oh, MI5 found the Judas and then dealt with them accordingly, and
Nice.
There was
something else
also
happened, and then that's it. That's the end of the story. And it was like, really? Like, or not the end, but the end of like that cool subplot of trying to sniff out, well, who's the traitor, who's the person that was controlling Incognito. No exploring that whatsoever. No other cool biblical tie-ins that yeah,
I don't know.
they just
So my thought on the Alucard power scaling stuff is like I sort of thought about it the same way you would think about, I don't know, No Game No Life or something like that, where like no duh he's going to win because he's very clearly the strongest person, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like planning or figuring out how that could happen. As far as like Kat's point with him getting like shot in the head and like doing different than that, one, he likes to fuck with people. Two, he does remove constraints from himself, and Integra removes constraints from him as the series goes on. So like, I don't know. That seems fine. I really liked his fight with Luke Valentine, who was like the vampire. It sort of showed me a dynamic I haven't seen a ton of, and it could be common, but I don't see a ton of shows like this, where Alucard was like very excited to fight someone he thought could possibly give him a challenge, and so he like went all out and turned into that weird dog thing that looked like it was Pride from Full Metal Alchemist or whatever.
100%.
Yeah. And and like did this fight, and then he was like pretty disappointed when he like wiped the floor up with him, right? Like I thought that was like an interesting dynamic. I sort of liked Alucard from that perspective, where it's about in a similar way to like Saitama, right? Like it's about getting him to the location. It's about making sure he's able to like get to X, Y, or Z. You have this cheat code, but there are obstructions to it that the cast has to like work around in some ways. Now, it wasn't always perfectly executed or anything, but I think you can still sort of do a character like him just fine. Pete, do you have thoughts on Alucard and the power scaling and all that?
I think I'm kind of in the same boat with just like you guys, like with you, where it's like he's the main character. Of course, he's going to win. I kind of just like gave up on like what I thought was going to happen. Like the story itself never really presented us with like expo dumps to sort of give us a better understanding of like what's happening in the world. It's sort of just like they're showing it to us in most aspects. So with Alucard just like getting stronger and stronger, I said like fuck it, why not? He's like the vampire. Like of course he's insanely strong. Like his dad's Dracula. I don't know if his dad's Dracula in this lore, but like another lore, like his dad is like the strongest vampire ever. Like of course he's going to,
He's Dracula, I think.
He's literally Dracula.
They show him
right?
Vlad the Impaler as half of
Yeah.
his face at the end.
I wasn't
Right.
I wasn't 100% sure. That makes a lot
That's
of
fair.
sense. I was
I'm
just
not 100% sure either. That's just my best.
I assume
guess.
it's Vlad the Impaler because I've seen a lot of Vlad the Impaler.
And then
Because
they
of the
literally
mustache.
show,
The mustache and hat
Yeah.
is always
Yeah.
Vlad the
and
Impaler.
he
He
also
also says-
impales the final guy as
True.
well. Like,
And he does.
literally
They
in the
show it
shot
right after. Exactly. They show it right after he
He-
impales.
but
the guy.
real
And then he says-
real quick, I
Oh,
got
yeah,
one more
go.
thing.
Sorry.
Cat's like, what? I haven't even finished saying what I was saying. Alucard is like Goku for me. Like he's going to win, and if he loses, he's just going to come back later to win. Like he's never not going to win. So that's pretty much why I went into it, and that's what I got. So I was like, it was fine.
Yeah. I don't know if that's what Cat like. I don't know if maybe I didn't articulate my point then. I guess my point more is like make it make sense. Then give us like some understanding of what powers he has or the things, rather than just like, oh, surprise, he can win because
Yeah.
this thing that we didn't tell you about or clue you into. Like I guess, and like with Cat, I think one point earlier too, Cat, that you made, I think the bullets that the priest was firing are not like silver bullets, right? Like, or the ones that would damage him. That's the way I interpreted. Like anytime people shot guns
Yeah.
at him and he didn't flinch, I did.
Yeah.
That's the way I interpreted it. But yeah, but that isn't shown or told to us really. It's kind of just you have to figure it out by whether he wins or not. And I really wish I understood what his power levels were. What were the restraints for? Why, other than his bloodlust, although he doesn't have it because he drank what's her name, Integra's blood. Yeah, like why is he serving her? Like, what was he tortured? Was he locked away for thousands? We don't really like tease it, but we don't really explore it at all. Like, why is he subservient to her? Like things like that. I don't want to like act like I'm just ragging on the entire show though either, because like I thought one really cool scene were they trying to imply that like when Integra stabs herself in the neck and then they work on her, that they completely drain her of all her blood and recycle new blood in? Is that the whole point? And then that removes like the tainted
Have you never done that
vampire
before?
blood?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That poor.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, yeah, that's not in my
Do you
wealth
know-
class, unfortunately.
do you-
No,
Do you not have a teenage son whose blood you drain and put
Yeah.
into yourself?
You not have a.
in
That's
order-
what Miles. Why do you think Miles grew Coop in a vat?
Yeah.
no, but that's what I was wondering. Like, is that what they were trying to imply? Like happened? I would assume so,
Yes.
right? Like, okay,
Yes, she said she
that's-
had impure blood in her.
yeah, exactly. So it's pretty ridiculous and biologically wouldn't work, but like that's a cool. At the end of the day, fuck it. There's vampires. It's cool. Like I thought it was a cool like way to save her, even though she had been compromised, quote unquote.
I guess I don't know how vampires work biologically, but you could replace your blood.
No, of course. Like you
Yeah.
could cycle it all out, but like replacing all of it without then the tainted blood touching the new blood, like it would like.
You dilute it.
You just
You
can't
do.
afford the good British surgeons.
No, I just can't. I need MI5 helping me out.
Yeah.
Which did they do that on
He is
purpose?
part of a secret organization, to be fair.
Of course.
Like,
Yeah, it is. No, well, that's why I was like, yeah, whatever, cool. They saved it. Like it's the same thing. Like Violet Evergarden, her arms. Why does she have like?
The world is
advanced-
like exactly World War I, World War II, but also
Yeah.
they have like amazing prosthetic technology.
And then nothing else, but
Yeah.
still limited like lamps, no electricity yet. Like,
Yeah. Like
yeah,
they don't even
stuff
have phones until the movie. Like,
right. So I get like at that point, it's like, all right, whatever, cool, secret society thing like that. But and that's why I liked it. That was one of the things I liked because I thought it was a cool idea. I just, it's tough. I can't relate, I guess. I just don't cycle my blood very often. I can't even give blood. I don't drain fast enough. They sit there for 20 minutes and they're like, sorry, buddy, we're just going to have to throw this out anyways.
Can I drink your blood? Because it sounds like you got molasses flowing through your brains.
corn syrup.
That wasn't very nice, Cat.
That was kind of rude, Cat. I'm not gonna lie.
I think
No,
he
I
just
just-
makes it flows
Through
slowly.
the
Yeah,
brain,
brains
through the brain is
Not
kind of
the
mean.
I meant the vein.
Yeah, saying someone has molasses in their brains is a very southern way of being mean to somebody. Is what I'm
Less
saying.
needed to be mean.
It's okay, Cat. Bless your heart. Bless your heart. Cat.
Bless your heart.
Okay, fuck you.
Bless your
Jeff.
heart.
It's,
Yeah, there we go. I'm learning. No, but I just bleed really slowly. So vampires would hate me. Don't come after me, vampires. There you go. That's my
Ooh, okay. Unrelated question. That's all. I guess tangentially related. Who here would be like, "Fuck yeah, I want to be a vampire"?
2 seconds.
Pete-
2 seconds.
Okay, Pete's immediately yes.
No, because is it Hellsing vampires? Because you have to be a fucking virgin to have free will in Hellsing.
Say less.
it's
still
over.
up.
Say less.
Yo, I got both my hands up now.
Do the is it in the scenario that she found herself in where she gets killed
Yeah,
by
sure.
him on
It's that
purpose?
scenario. You're gonna die, right?
I
You've
would think
been
the freak chip.
yeah. That's,
I guess I would probably do it just because I don't know, life is awesome. and
shoot or
living-
shoot, right? Yeah.
Well, and like if you're 20, what is she supposed to be like mid-20s? Like I don't
Yeah,
want
early 20s, I think,
20s.
is what 19. You can become a cop. I guess you can become a cop at 19.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially back then, depending on and whatever. We're not getting.
I mean, today, right now, you can do it. Yeah. So,
In some areas, yeah, probably. I think just to go tangential on that why does he have to shoot her again? Couldn't he? They say they can shoot the head or the chest. So this ultra super sick sharpshooter says, "I'm gonna have to shoot you through, shoot the priest through you." In order to kill him, even though his head is to the left of her, like
I think he was just doing that because I think the reason Alucard wants to turn her is because he sees like a humanity in her, and due to like he has like such a hatred of vampires, I think that he wants to make like a vampire that can keep her humanity and see if that's possible.
Do they explore why he hates the vampires? I'm not doubting you. I'm just
they
trying.
do later. They do in
it.
Ultimate and the rest of the
Okay, because like in this series, I was like, he hates the bad vampires or the ones that stain his name.
He's
but
a different character in this series compared to Ultimate, for what it's worth.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, he never does the whole like it was your choice to become a vampire thing in Ultimate, like rub it in her face sort of thing. He's a bit more like he's still like a weirdo. Don't get me wrong, but he's a bit less like blatant about it, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I also thought that that the dude that they were fighting hid his head behind her as well. I thought I remembered that in the show.
are we talking about the priest or the
Yes.
the first priest, not the second priest?
The first priest.
Okay.
Mhm.
I really
The
liked
Anglican priest, not the Catholic one.
I liked the Catholic priest. He just comes in with a fucking Irish accent and is like,
that was great.
Yeah, he's sort of the rival character, in case you couldn't tell.
yeah, he works in the same organization, right?
No, he works for Iscariot.
Okay.
Hellsing is for the Anglican Church. Iscariot is for the Catholic Church.
Oh, okay. So they're like rivals /
They work together
Yes.
in an uneasy alliance when they have to, but they are rivals.
yeah, because Integra like ordered him around a bit, and that's why I thought But it's just because she's so high up and like
At the end of the day, like they're fighting vampires and ghouls and shit. They can put aside their differences to like stop London from being blown up or
He's
whatever.
from the Vatican. Yeah, they had a
Yeah.
similar interests, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
okay.
I just realized one of them is named Schrodinger. A character is named Schrodinger in this.
It's in the
Or is that-
manga.
Yeah, Schrodinger. If you read into that, you'll get mad spoiled on shit. I'm not gonna lie. That's
He's a
like
Nazi.
that's like a late,
Oh,
that's like an
cool.
that's like an end game villain in the manga.
He's
Glad to see that
the
Nazi.
cat boy.
Can I bring something up that kept
I'm sorry.
kind of bothering me a little bit?
It's a
Every time
cat
in the
boy
dub when they
Nazi.
every time in the dub when they were like, the freaks are getting more powerful, or they made them all into freaks, or we all know freaks don't need sleep. Like every
Which is
time,
true.
yeah, no, all of them are true.
The freaks
every
come
single
out at night.
yeah, every single time they did that, I laughed because I'm just like picturing like somebody just being like freaky. You know?
Yeah, they used freak hard R in that dub very, very often. It was very weird.
Yeah.
I could
God,
chime
this
off
show.
that real quick because
Yeah, go ahead.
Jay mentioned something about how the script was bad. Like it wasn't because I was saying like I hated the dub. Like there was parts where I thought the dub was just terrible. And then Jay mentioned something like it's not their fault the script is so bad. And when he said that, I was only on episode 4. And I was like, I think it's the dub. And then I watched episode 5, which was the introduction of, or it's like when Jan Valentine has his fight.
Yes.
And he says fuck 23 times that episode. And I'm like, you know what? I think Jay's right. I think the script is terrible. And that
think
just
that is
adds on to like the
unironically-
freak stuff later. It was just like, we know they're freaks. You said freaks once already. You don't have to say it 6 times in 30 seconds. So I was just like, when you have a script that's just like laughably bad at some points, I think it's just, I feel like to me at least, it's just like, please don't say freak one more time or I'm going to punch myself. Like, please stop.
And then Jan just like
And then Jan's like,
fucking breaks the fourth
man.
wall,
Yeah.
looks right into the camera and says, freak.
He would say freak motherfuckers or something like
Freak
that.
motherfucker, yeah.
I think that Jan is actually the character that made me like, because his voice actor isn't bad in my opinion, but like the script gives him
Oh my god, it was
nothing.
terrible.
It gives him literally nothing.
It was
And there are
terrible.
some bad voice actors, don't get me wrong. Like Seras' voice actor only in 2 projects or 3 projects or
2.
something. Yeah, and that is
It's
very
Ultimate.
obvious.
Something else.
No, she's not an ultimate.
Oh.
She gets replaced in ultimate.
Nope. Like she's on the ultimate.
No, it's just
Button.
because they're the same character. Karen
Oh, okay.
Strassman plays her in ultimate.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good job, Mal.
But I did think that there were some pretty good voice actors like Ferguson, Integra, fucking Alexander. Like there were more good voice actors than bad voice actors. The script is just dog shit.
Yes, I would agree with that.
The butler guy, it was pretty
Walter?
funny. I like
Yeah.
Walter. Yeah.
Walter.
When his helicopter started like when he gave the okay symbol, I was like, oh, he's actually about to die. And then instead of showing the helicopter blow up in the sky, they showed it like crash off in the distance. I was like, oh, he's alive. Like there's just no way. There's no way. Yep, he's alive. Go figure. They show him miraculously awake and being wheeled off in a stretcher like that.
I thought Ferguson was gonna fake out Deathus because like didn't he get like shot in the chest or something at the beginning
got
and
shot.
fake out?
He got shot in the head and chest at the end.
Yeah, I was about to say I thought he was dead that first time and then he's just back randomly and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, just shoot or shoot, or get shot or something. I have a question about Jan. What was the issue, like conceptually, with artificial vampires?
It's the AI version of vampires.
Okay, so they just like didn't like them because they were like different.
Yeah, they're using too much
Okay.
water.
Okay, yeah, that's one inquiry uses 500 milliliters of blood.
Their whole thing too is that they're trying to eliminate them, right? Like that's
Yeah.
that's their goal. The goal of the Hellsing is to eliminate vampires and get them out of the world and stop them from killing people. So like, like that, I would think
Yeah.
artificial ones are a
So-
big problem for that.
I get, but but like not all the vampires, right?
Well, the ones that are bloodbound by God's knows why, but that's it. There's literally just one vampire that isn't a psychotic bad guy, right? That's shown
Yeah.
so far, and
So,
it's
like, yeah.
it's Alucard, who owns Victoria, who's also a cop, like wants to be on the good guys, and is that part of Hellsing. Like everyone outside of Hellsing, and I guess that one girl who sits there in her. But that's why she gets left alone too. She doesn't get hunted because she's not like destroying human peace or whatever. She's just sitting there doing nothing until she needs to come back for the plot and die for the plot. But that's a whole other thing. I don't know.
Okay, Kat, you had something to say?
Technically, from the sub, I think they explained it. They were the reason why they're going after the freak vampires is because instead of the typical vampire where there's like where it's more like they are above humans, they technically serve them, but they are almost like kind of like they are gods amongst men that serve them for their own means. Freak vampires were more along the lines of humans that have gained immortality and have bought into their carnal desires. Like when we saw what's his face, the dude with the Egyptian eye on his toboggan. Like that is
Jen.
Yeah, Jan is into sexual desire, and then his brother Luke is into, I guess, violence. I suppose, but like
sadism, torturing. I guess, right?
Sadism and torturing. Yeah, like it was them being almost like a carnal sin versus Alucard having, although being extremely evil in his ways, having a more nuanced ideal rather than just a carnal desire.
Yeah, okay. I do think that's interesting, and like Jay pointed out some very subtle coding behind the freak chick that sort of shows that maybe it's used in like nefarious ways or whatever. But I don't know. I thought that was interesting. Let's talk about Integra a bit because I think we all liked her, and I guess the scene that I would like to highlight from her is like the last scene at the end where it's like her and Alucard talking, and I literally didn't understand any of what was happening, but I was like, this is really cool. I don't know what's happening, but this is like very neat. I like this vibe. I think both of these people are badass. And she's like sipping on some wine or something, and like I don't know. It was just like a whole cool thing. And to me, that this sort of exemplified her character. None of it really made much sense, but it was really cool.
That's what
I don't know. Yeah,
you had me at that. It looked cool, and then you said like, or started trying to make sense. I was like, whoa, no, that's where you lost me. Yeah, it didn't really reveal anything to us, nor did the final really few episodes. Like, who was the queen supposed to be? Were they supposed to be the
Queen of England?
Woman?
Queen of
No. Let me rephrase. Like, do they ever show her on screen? Is she that girl that's there cowering with a few agents that they keep cutting to the same shot a couple times? Because like that whole plot line of like, oh, where's the queen gonna be? They need to be here. They need to go there. Like, I was confused by that as well. Like, oh, they're walking into a trap, but then the trap is also a trap, but it's not. And then
So on the subject of the queen, there's a scene where the queen where there's just like this black car that's being driven in, and they lower the window to show just like a very ornate hat. I think that's the queen, because I don't think the queen was ever at the Tower of London at all. Like none of the royal family was there. It was just a big framing thing because they were because the Judas in the organization was trying to was trying to frame the Hellsing organization so that they would not be part of like England's police force.
Okay. I guess that makes sense. Good thing we know who that Judas was.
They were dealt with off screen.
Absolutely. Yes.
But back to that. Did anyone have Integra thoughts?
She was pretty cool. I thought that the like random plot with her not sister was like it felt so weird to me, honestly, and kind of shoehorned in as a way to give us backstory for her in the next episode. And I think that they could have just given us an episode of backstory without having to do all that. Like they could have just had a flashback episode, right?
Was that from the manga or no?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Take a look.
I thought it was fairly interesting, just from the standpoint that we got to see what vampires can do. Because from what we saw, well, actually, she seems to be a freak, but also may not be a freak. She may not even be a full vampire. No, she wasn't a full vampire. She was made from incognito because they were in tandem. It kind of exemplified a different power that vampires have, and I thought that was really interesting. But other than that, just like outside of the show, I didn't. It was. It was.
I thought she was
okay.
Cool. The Integra. I think, like you guys said, she just drips and oozes aura.
Oh,
but I was very confused at first too. I thought they were supposed to be like an androgynous character, like they were using Sir, and then I realized that's just like the title, even though they just didn't do Madam instead. But whatever.
It would be Dame
or Dame. Pardon me. Yeah, that I'm showing that I haven't been cited for.
Yes.
But yeah, that kept thinking of Pegasus as well.
It looks like Pegasus.
She does kind of look like Pegasus.
It looks a lot like Yu-Gi-Oh! In general, honestly.
It does. It's very that era stylized in the same way. Like I guess I referred to it like, again, it felt like to me it was trying to rip off Bebop, but that's also just maybe the era where they like had to be flashy, maybe to get the attention and like get the international audience or whatever. Maybe that's how they chose to do it. I don't really know, but I did not think they succeeded outside of Integra. Like again, were you guys really that interested in Alucard as a character beyond just like, oh, he's a badass? Like I wasn't like his motivations. I didn't really feel like were explored. They kind of tried to give it some hints with the backstory, but like, what, how did he end up there? How did her father trap him? How did he like motivate himself other than, I guess, like there's this whole like sub-dom thing going on with all vampire stories. Your dog and cat are being very cute, Jay. Sorry.
Thank you. It's okay.
They like, but there's like that, I guess, dynamic that would lead to it being a motivation. But I like, does he not give a shit that he's subservient to her? Like, why is he so loyal to her? Other than, I guess, her blood tasted sweet then when she was.
I think he's like, because he's like under contract with like her father, and then like I feel like it then just got like passed down through their family. But this is like another thing with like, I wish they would just told us why. Like I feel like in that situation that Miles brought up, we're just like, Integra could just drop like a line saying something like, like my father was the reason why you're alive or something like that. And then maybe we have like a better understanding of why somebody as powerful as Alucard is essentially the servant for a human family when he is, so powerful.
He's gargling on Integra. Like
I think it's kind of implied that her dad was such a fucking badass, despite being like a normal human being, that when he defeated Alucard was like, you know what? Fair enough. I'll serve you, and if your descendants are badasses too, I'll help them out as well. But if they're not, then it's chomping time. Like we saw that he was willing to chomp down on her, but she proved herself to him by showing that she had resolve.
Yeah, but like, why was he trapped then, and why wasn't he serving the father at that moment?
Yeah, well, I don't
Pretty
know.
sure the dad's dead, isn't he?
Yeah, he
The
is.
dad dies, and that's why she goes down there, because the
Yeah.
brother or her uncle starts. But she goes down there to a room that's like very clearly sealed off spiritually or whatever, and awakens him from a deep slumber that he had been in for a long time. So it's like, why wouldn't her father be using him in the same way that she is using him? I'm sure it's go read the manga is the answer to those
probably.
commenting that.
Yeah.
Fuck off. No, thank you. I can't
But
read.
you can't fit an entire show into 12 episodes.
No, it just seems like
right?
a blip
Yeah.
though. Like I'm fine with like leaving it like up to our interpretation, but we need to get like we're like a hamster in a cage, and we need some water. We need some drips, and I'm still thirsty. I need a little bit more. I need a little bit more H2O, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Miles, I'm smooth brain. I need more context.
Just give us any context. So give us some frame of reference to then put the puzzle pieces together, rather than just, oh yeah, he's just the most powerful being on our planet is this lady's bitch. Like there's literally nothing else, you know? Like what else other than, oh, I get, like, again, you guys made like valid point. Like she showed too that she is strong and mean and angry and whatever after he killed like 4 people in front of her. But like, I don't know, maybe this is deeper vampire lore too. Like if they drink your blood, you're their bit. Like I just don't.
I mean, I think it's just something you're supposed to find out over the course of. I mean, how many chapters is the manga? Like
90 or something like that.
Yeah, but we're not reading the manga here. We're talking about the show Hellsing.
We are reading the manga.
To put the show into context, though, this is a show that was turned into it was a manga that was turned into an anime when it had 2 volumes out and updated once a year. This was just late stage rampant capitalism demanding a hot commodity, and they were like, all right, sure, yeah, seems like a good way to make Studio Gonzo some money, or the production committee, whatever. But in terms of like, I agree with Miles. Yeah, that seems like something we're supposed to find out over the course of it. There's a lot that can be inferred from it, I feel like. But like throughout the series, we see Alucard. He's trying to find excitement. He gets excited when he sees people. Like Pete mentioned this earlier. He gets excited when he fights that one guy until he becomes a dog and then sticks his arm out of the dog and shoots him. Like I think that he just sees it as, will it be more fun? Me just being like a vampire lord and being just like a predator animal, basically, or like hunting my own kind for a master that can potentially kill me. Like that seems more exciting for him. Like he's probably bored of being the apex predator. It's probably more exciting for him to have somebody who can potentially put him down if
100%.
need be. He doesn't want to be fed. He wants to hunt.
Let the beast out of its cage.
Yeah, I don't know. That's you said that more succinctly than I could. Like I think, at least for me, there's enough there that, like, say there were more episodes of this, I would be interested in finding these things out, right? Like I do want to find these things out, but like I also understand that this is just not going to happen in this particular context. Like that source material might not have existed at the time. You know,
it did not.
So,
it had 2 volumes. Like the main villain organization had not been made yet in the manga, which is why we get Incognito, who's just like a
Clever.
Conan villain.
Yes.
A Conan villain with a grenade launcher.
Let's do it. Final thoughts, Miles. What are your final thoughts and your final score?
Yeah, ultimately, I thought the show was like fine. It was fun. As we've talked about, there's not a lot of like connective tissue holding these things together. Like perhaps Pat would be more forgiving of some plot points not being completely fleshed out if there was like any sort of consistent through line anywhere in the show, and there just like really isn't a ton of that. It's sort of like episodic, but like in a weird way where it's secretly not, but like maybe it is. Like you have to sort of decide that as you go. Like how much are we getting divulged? How much of this world is actually like fleshed out, right? So while I don't have an issue with like certain things not being fleshed out, because I think they would be better reveals down the line, I will say not a lot is fleshed out here, which makes sense again given the context of how this was made. I think the vibe of this whole show is pretty cool. I personally liked Alucard. I thought he was neat. I thought his take on being a vampire lord was really cool with like the shadows and the dog. Like I just haven't seen vampires portrayed like that before, as these sort of like eldritch beings. So I thought that was neat. I liked the English voice acting because sometimes it was awful and sometimes it was really good, and the contrast enjoyed me. But anyways, to me, this is like a 7. That is just because I kind of had a fun time watching it, but like it don't go in this expecting 7 quality. I just sort of had a fun time. So that's where I am.
Okay. I'm glad you added that caveat. It makes it make a little more sense, I think. Kat, what about you?
Yeah, this show was definitely something that I'm glad I've watched just so that I can have discussions like this one and discussions with other people that go back into like classic anime and want to know your thoughts about it. This is definitely going to be a good conversation piece. That being said, that's probably going to be one of the more fun aspects of the show. The show was good. The show was okay. I would say it's a 6, but I would definitely say don't go into the show expecting like, Akira or expecting Naruto or like anything near that. Like this
Don't go into the show expecting Casablanca.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Like, oh wow, don't go into this porn video expecting like good dialogue. Like no shit.
Oh,
Fair enough.
100%.
Like,
That was
fair
actually
enough.
one of the things that made me laugh about the show. Like this show is sometimes unironically funny. Ironically funny. Excuse me. But that being said, I'd probably I'd said I'd give it a 6. So
6. All right. Jay, what about you?
Yeah. TLDR, this one for me is that the OST was pretty fun. A lot of the visuals were pretty fun, but I wouldn't like say that they were something to super write home about. I think I prefer some of the other old stuff we watched compared to this. I don't think it looks particularly good for like the 90s, let alone 2001 in a lot of places, even if the aesthetic is really solid in a lot of places. The characters were all right. Could have used a little bit more development, but it's a 13 episode series, so not expecting too much from that. I don't think that I don't know if they knew if they were going to be a single series or if it was going to get another season is the thing. That's what the through line feels like to me. But the English voice acting was pretty good, as other people said. It's not their fault that the script was bad, but overall, this is a 6 out of 10 for me. Go watch Ultimate instead, or Abridged.
I agree that aesthetically it like was cool and well done, but that like when you look at those like background arts more closely and just some of even the action and the like character designs and everything else that has to do with the art side of things was not very good it had very low valleys as well in particular, I would say. So I agree with you on that one. The OST was a banger though. We didn't talk about that enough. It was really good. A lot of blues, a lot of like jazziness to it. It was really fun. Pete, what about you? Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Jay. Go ahead.
Sorry, the ED was something me and my girlfriend made fun of like every time because it sounds like Rascal Flats or something like, or Bruce Springsteen is playing or something.
Yeah, it was weird. The OP was fun. I'm glad we shit posted about it.
It sounded like The Sopranos so much. It was crazy.
Gabagool, hey.
Well,
come join our Discord.
Got some gabagool.
Oh man, shout out Donkey, great YouTuber. Pete, what have you got?
Yeah, the whole time I was watching this show, the word that just came to me was inconsistent. Where we had something like, I thought Alexander's voice actor was like phenomenal. Like I thought he was so good. I thought Integra's was so good. And then like someone like Jan, like who had possibly the worst script of all time for a character. Just that part of it. Flub Victoria's voice actress I thought was not good at all. Visually, we had parts where I thought like the grittiness and sort of the style of this like early 2000s 90s action horror was there, and then there were some points where we have someone like Victoria walking into a room and it's a 15-second freeze frame. So like production wise, it was like all over the place where you could stylize some spots more and then save money and time by freeze framing or doing the thing where like it like zooms in and out and or pans left and right. There was a lot of those shots, maybe just a little bit too much for me. We mentioned it earlier, but sort of just expo dumping, I think even a little bit would have helped. Like I understand that this is not a complete story and we need to have more content to figure out some stuff, but you can do both. You can feed us and give us the illusion of wanting more towards in future volumes or future episodes. I feel like it didn't deliver on that. I was left very confused in a lot of spots of trying to understand people's reasoning of why they are doing stuff or why a character would do X instead of Y. I just felt like some of that context clues were just missing in general from the story. I'm kind of with Miles where I do think that this is like a bad show, but it was a really easy watch. I wasn't really dreading watching the next episode. I would watch it and be like, yeah, cool. Like that was fine. It's just something I don't think I would recommend. And it's not something I would like, I don't know. Even if you're like a big fan of like this style, I just feel like I don't know. Like I thought there was parts of like Elfenlied that were better than this. And I hate Elfenlied. So it's like it was just
massive Pat W right there.
It was just
Let's go.
It was just so right.
Yeah.
It was just missing like I said in my intro, like
the incest of Elfenlied.
It was missing the incest. It was missing. We needed more incest. But like I don't know, like the gore element, I didn't think it was there. The violence, I feel like if for this style of show should have been better. There's like scenes where it's like the ghouls were like walking with like their shields and stuff, and then she like shoots it with one bullet, and then they look like bowling pins, and they just go bleh. And I was like, all right, whatever, fuck it. Like that was really lame. I'm gonna give this is like a really low 6, but I'm gonna give it a 6.
Okay.
Ah, damn, you make my math so easy, Pete.
I was like looking at my 5s, and I'm like, this is better than some of these 5s, so I'm gonna give it a 6.
All right, well,
Same thing.
I was very close. I'm also somewhere in between, or was between before I decided the 5 and 6 range, but I ended up giving it a 5, mainly because a lot of the complaints that you had, Pete, mixed with some of what Jay said as well. I think it's perfectly average in the sense that I was entertained but frustrated. Like any compliment I can afford to the show, it feels like there's a negative or like a but right after it for pretty much everything that it did. It didn't like excel and not do anything flawlessly. So I don't know. Like I wouldn't like and also just looking at the scoring system too. I was like, would I call this show fine? Probably not. I'd probably call it average. So I don't know. Again, and to be very clear too, I don't think that this is a testament to the testament, like the Bible and stuff that they talk about in the show. This isn't a testament of the Hellsing like idea and the manga, but it's a testament to 2001 Hellsing, which I really did not think was well made or thought out or executed in all those other beautiful words that are synonyms. So yeah, with my score of a 5, that brings our average score to a 6.0, which is 1.5 below the 7.49 score on Mal. I'm surprised it's that high, but then I think about it, and it's like it's all a bunch of old heads that like probably grew up watching this or something, that are nostalgia giving it an 8. I feel like because like what we didn't have anyone even above a 7, right? Like
yeah, I was the only 7.
Yeah.
I would probably think this would be my favorite anime if I watched this in 2001, like straight up.
Yeah.
I think this one. I don't think this holds up.
It does. I agree that it very much doesn't hold up, but I like Evangelion or like
Ava holds
I-
up. What?
No,
That's what he's saying. He's like, this would be your
Oh,
favorite anime.
I thought
and,
you
like,
saying it
we're even
wasn't. I
telling
thought you saying that Ava does hold up. Like, I'm pretty sure it does.
I mean, we can have that conversation in another episode, but
I'd love
obviously
to.
it does. It does. Obviously. By the way, we mentioned earlier that this is anime number 270 on Mal. I sat there and typed multiple numbers into like the URL code or whatever. 37, I think, or 40 is Ghost in the Shell. So that's our lowest anime number that we've done on the Watch Club before.
Nice.
So fun little research tidbit there. But yeah, so anime number 270 or Hellsing, that wraps up our Watch Club for it, I would say. Miles, we have 2 core shows that we voted on. Excuse me, this past week.
2 core.
What were the results?
Really quick, because listening to you guys talk about your scoring for the show with my 7, that's like super correct. Everything y'all said. I just didn't expect anything from the show because I've seen plenty of anime from this era and they're all like this.
Like Evangelion, fair enough. Yeah.
Kinda. In parts.
Ava did have production issues. Actually had a massive one.
It's fake news.
But I don't know. There's a reason we like mentioned 5 shows from the 90s ever. So yeah, we voted for our 2 core show. In third place, sad to say, we have Higurashi Kai getting its 2nd legacy point. Perhaps next year.
Next year for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, because it was such a close race this year. I mean, that one whole point would have made a huge difference, right?
It was a fucking blowout this year. It was not a close one. In second place, we have the Apothecary Diaries, which had a good run for a show that basically everyone has seen. So yeah, basically. And then in first place, just putting everything in the fucking dirt is Steins Gate, which we will be watching.
Okay.
So I get my first win in, was it been over a year?
Over a year.
And
since October of 2023.
Yeah. So
Jesus.
Yeah, all it took was me nominating the number 4 ranked and number 14 most popular anime of all time. Finally, I guess, appealing to the stable and everybody else. But I'm excited to watch this because I have not even tried to start it. I'm really jazzed up about this. And I know Miles, you've watched it, but
no, he hasn't.
Pete's the one who's watched it. Sorry,
I will just say this: if you are a fan of like voice acting, I think Mamoru Miyano's performance in the sub is the best voice acting ever in anime. Like, I think it's that good. I think he just owns the role more than anything I've ever seen in anime. So while it does have a dub, I will highly recommend you watching the sub for this one.
I planned on it for sure because of him.
Plan to just read the entire visual novel.
Yeah, there you go.
I feel like
just come in having done that.
Yeah, I'm excited to finally hear where the voice line comes in, like what episode it is. Like I'm gonna be listening very close. Oh, is it literally episode 1? Okay, well,
and she does it
spoilers.
every episode.
All right, there we go. I will get 24 episodes of crack injected into my veins. Oh wow, look at us. We're so freaking advanced and talented. But yeah, so that's Steins Gate. That's what we're watching in 2 weeks. Oh my god, I have to get started. That's 24 episodes of a show. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you might have to start on Sunday instead of day of.
No, you underestimate my power. No, I'm kidding. I actually, Ashley and I'll probably be watching this during the week. Let's see. What do we have to do now? Oh yeah, we have to nominate shows for 2 weeks from now. And voting. I can do this job. I'm very good at it. Miles, what show are you nominating? We're back to the 1 course.
Yes. So speaking of being very good at this job, it's going to be literally exhausting for me to have to watch a 2-course show in 2 weeks because I'm bad at my job of watching anime. So I figured we could use a little break, little short movie-esque kind of thing.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Don't steal my movie, though.
What's your movie?
You say first.
Okay, so I'm going to be nominating, came out this year. Is that...
No, it didn't come out this year.
Okay. Look Back. Which no, or is this bad? I don't know anything about it.
No, I was just saying
It's not bad.
we've
but-
done an episode. I've done an
Yeah, I was
episode.
about to
on it.
say,
you did?
like
Okay.
me and Pete have both done podcasts on this before.
Okay. Well, if we can acknowledge that I had a thing picked and I can find something else.
Yeah,
No,
like normally
Find it right now.
it's like it's one of those things where it's like outside of
I
Watch
think
Club.
give it like a year, maybe. I think
Okay.
honestly.
It's just like me and Cosette talked about it for an hour already on our channel. So like to do it again would seem a little,
Especially within 2 weeks, like that's like exhausting for the content. I understand that aspect. I think in general, yeah, like what Jay said, like give it a year and we'll
a
go back
rewatch
to
in a
it.
year or something.
Yeah, that would work.
Cool.
So
Even
it
though
is
that
a
would save you
fantastic
time.
movie, and you should go watch
It is
it.
wonderful. It would probably win, to be fair, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of picked it because like I knew people liked it, and like I didn't realize you and Cosette did an episode about it, but I should have because you guys do an episode on like literally any anime that comes out, like movie form.
Except for the
try
one
to
that
work-
just came out that we both went and saw.
Oh, what was it?
The Colors Within.
Colors
It's
Within.
the new the lady who directed A Silent Voice, her new movie.
Oh, okay. Is it good?
I loved it.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna nominate The Colors with.
I'm
Is
I
it
will-
watchable?
I mean, if we want to go sailing,
Okay, well, let's not.
like
Have you
it
solved
just
enough
came out in
files
theaters on
Be able
Thursday.
to. I could go see it today at 9:40 p.m., which is 10 minutes from now.
Yeah,
In
get your
a
ticket.
place
Get in the
40
truck.
minutes away from me. Yeah, get in the truck. Yeah, no, I'd have to go like 180 miles an hour to
AMC
get
theaters
there on
has
time.
35 minutes of trailers. You'll get there just in time.
Yeah, you. This is Cinemark. Damn it.
I don't know that.
Damn. Yeah, they're the same company. I
Can
think.
we do Cat if Miles doesn't know what he's doing?
No, we must do Miles. Yeah, obviously, Kat. What have you got, buddy? Maybe we cut all of that out.
Oh man, I couldn't think of a good follow up that would be on brand for what we're doing. I just thought about something that I feel that would fall underneath my fetish.
Wait,
The Catboy Nazi
what's your fetish?
How heavy are the dumbbells you lift?
Are muscly
Also
women your
women.
fetish?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Same.
Valid. Jay, what have you got?
I'm going to nominate something that is described as Lupin the Third for people who like Satoshi Kon and David Lynch. I'm going to nominate Lupin the Third, the woman called Fujiko Mine.
Yeah, I got
That was
like
really funny.
I got stun locked for a second there. Like what? And like and then I processed. All right, Pete, what have you got?
Yep. I'm
What's
also
the-
going movies. Who's the guy who does Your Name? What's his name?
Oh, are you doing Suzume? That was my fucking
Hold
movie.
on, it's not. I'm not doing Suzume.
No,
Okay.
We've
it's,
already done an episode on Suzume.
I
Yeah,
fucking
like,
hate you. Stop
I-
making so much content.
Well, like yeah, that was a really fun episode.
That was the
Yeah.
day before I went to Japan. I went and saw a movie, fully recorded a podcast
Makoto
episode.
Shinkai.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Makoto Shinkai.
So this
thank
is
you.
the Makoto Shinkai Light, the same guy who did the girl who leapt through time, Mamoru Hosoda, and adding on. I feel like we haven't really touched his filmography, so I'm gonna pick one of his. I was thinking of doing Summer Wars, which is my favorite film of his, but I'm gonna do one that I fell asleep watching and I never finished it. I'm gonna nominate The Boy and the Beast.
Boy and the Beast. All right. Miles, do you have your pick?
I do. I just literally can't think of fucking anything right now because Pete has made a podcast about every movie ever made
I got a movie
for-
that you watched that would be really fun to watch with us.
that I've watched.
Yeah, and you're the only one of us five that's seen it. Pompo the Cinephile.
Oh, really good movie. Oh, should I do that? I'll do that
You
later.
could just pick a Ghibli movie.
Yeah, I could. But what I'm going to pick is 1 second. I need to find it on Mal.
Oof, very prepared today, Miles.
I was super
you weren't.
prepared. Okay, fair enough.
You're supposed to bring 2 to every episode.
So true.
That,
So true.
what
But I
Pete
go
said, but
first.
unironically.
I go first. So what are the odds of someone
Yeah,
stealing?
you're
from me,
right.
Pete?
No, I get your viewpoint as well.
Okay, so
Loves
this
odds.
is
Yeah.
this is a movie from 1998. We are not going to pick this movie but I figure this can knock two birds with one stone out for me, which is my time of watching TV with Cooper before he goes to bed. And my Watch Club show. I will be nominating Pokemon, the first movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back.
I am so in. I am so in.
The first movie I ever cried to.
Yes.
I don't know. I just think it would be kind of fun to do that.
That would be fun.
So,
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I realized that.
What if we just start nominating 3 Pokemon movies?
it's just like
fucking
every
Watch
Pokemon
Club?
movie.
I realized that the circumstances of that idea's birth are irrelevant. We're all created equal, and blah blah blah, whatever. Okay, I'll do my nomination quick because I know we're getting late. Let's go back on the High School of the Dead train. It's got so many legacy points. It would be so much fun for us to talk about. If we want real horror, let's watch that. You know, you want some real romance, some real big titties on the screen.
Now you're talking.
Yeah. There we go. Well, there is actual horror in that show. It's like fucking terrifying. It's like it's more the human. Well, it's like in most zombie things, the humans are scarier than the zombies.
They were
like that kind of thing.
The monsters the whole time.
Yeah, and they actually do kind of explore that alongside all the jiggle physics and the other stupid shit that would happen in the show. That'd be really fun to talk about. So you guys would really enjoy it, I think, and I hope it would be cool to win 2 weeks in a row. But we'll see. Took a lot to get this first win in a year and a half. I'm very excited.
Hold that.
So proud of myself. I probably won now the most 2-core shows too. Technically, haven't I? Because I did the what did I do the first one? I had Guilty Crown and this. So
wow, nice track record.
yeah, great. Hey, well, some of us liked Guilty Crown enough to enjoy it at least.
I think it was
they're both 4s in their own way.
Yeah. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how Steins Gate is a 4 next or 2 weeks from now. But that wraps up Watch Club entirely. So thank you all for listening. Pete, take it away.
Yes, if you have made this far and you want to support us, the best way to do so, like, comment, subscribe, leave a review on whatever platform you're watching or listening to us on. Next week, my favorite episode of the year, Anime of the Year 2024. We'll have 17 winners and 17 runners up. So really looking forward to seeing how the community votes. Hopefully we'll have 100 votes by the time we do it. We're inching our way there, even though it's like the first day of voting, so it's whatever. But otherwise, if you're not here for that, if you're here for Watch Club, we will see you in 2 weeks for Steins Gate. Thanks, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye-bye.